My guest just said, let's not be so serious. Yeah, although we have a serious topic to talk about. Yeah. Look, if you follow this program at all, in the interviews with Adirondack Theater Festival, with the Hyde Museum, with LARAC, with the Woods Theater, with 14 Hudson Street, Sonny Bonaccio's project, one thing is very evident in the projects in Lake George, that Glens Falls and Warren County on a whole is really on the move. And recently, they got word that they were awarded a $10 million grant to help with a lot of projects and a lot of visionary concepts for Warren County. And really the man behind this, and his team, because I know you're going to say that, and his team is Ed Bartholomew. He's the president of the Economic Development Corps for Warren County. Welcome back, Ed.
Thank you very much, Jess.
Great to have you here, as always.
All dressed up for my appearance.
Well, I got the shorts on. But where's the pink shirt?
Yes, I
Inside joke, inside joke. Ed, God, there's so much to talk about. First, congratulations on getting
Thank you very much.
that grant. I want to go maybe start a little more seriously on something like this. We're hearing, okay, $10 million grant comes in. It sounds like an absolute fortune. You know, there's some talk about, are you going to have to hire consultant firms? Are they going to get the money and whatever? Frame this for us, okay?
First of all, this is a great, if that's a problem or an issue, that's a great issue or problem to have of receiving $10 million.
Yes.
With $10 million from the state of New York or the federal government or from a private foundation, there are some requirements involved, and one of them is that mandated, and we knew when we applied, and the 9 other cities that were successful, that out of that $10 million, the state is mandating up to $300,000 will be appropriated for some planning and consulting work to finish off this 56-page plan. And therefore, the state of New York went through their own procurement process and are identifying consultants that will be working with our local consultants. We feel, and we've talked to the state, that we don't need $300,000 to complete this study. We've had a number of good studies over the last 4 or 5 years that are relevant, and that we feel that we can do this for much less expensive money. So out of the box, we'll be doing that process over the next 3 to 4 months with a final adoption. An advisory committee is being formed from residents and businesses in the district and in the city. But all of the approval processes have to go through the city. No change with the local development corporation or IDA. It's just an advisory committee. So it just will help the plan along. And the plans, in terms of the planning, it's just not pretty pictures. What they're going to do is we've identified several buildings that they're going to help us provide a little bit more data to a developer that would like to do the building with a little bit more cost estimate, a little bit more detail. We've done some environmental reports on the building, whether there is going to be a little asbestos or lead paint in that regard. So I think it can be a helpful tool for us to further promote these buildings in this designated area in downtown.
Well, you know what, Ed, and also a lot of the consultant work that was done prior to this to create the report, that was done to get the money, and you succeeded. That was a very competitive, that was a shootout to get that money, and you got that money.
And and part of that money also went for improvements in prior studies for the Civic Center, up to $3 million. And up to $3 million for the parking structure that is tied into the Sonny and Dave Bucco project.
Yes, right, 14 Hudson, right?
14 Hudson.
The South Street, if you know Glens Falls, of course, Glen Street being the main drag, you've got Warren Street, and you've got Bay, and you've got other ancillary streets that come into it. But one of the streets that really is going to get a lot of the focus is South Street.
And rightfully so. 90% of the buildings on South Street are nearly vacant.
Yes, right.
In terms of the first floors, second floors, and third floors. So that we really are focusing on that with a number of projects, but other areas within that constraint of Glen Street, Hudson Park area will be also some attention.
How about the Gatekeeper for a project like this? Who's the Gatekeeper?
Well, the Gatekeeper is ill-defined, Jess.
Okay.
What we're going to have is we have the planning consultants that will be working with our local planning consultants. The advisory, the Common Council is the final arbiter, and EDC will be administering the program. We certainly will be active, involved in it, but we have a number of people that will be making decisions. And a lot of the work has already been done. We have this up on our website at www.gfdri.org, and the report is there along with our prior reports for people to take a look at.
You know, there's a lot of historical significance to what we're talking about. These some of the buildings on South Street, the ones that are being earmarked, including that beautiful building on the corner of South and Glen. But also it's got a wonderful farmers market. Anybody that lives in the area knows what I'm talking about. And there's some talk that that this is not only for restoration, but it's also for restoration of buildings, but also to increase the quality of life in Glens Falls, which is seeing quite a lot of urbanization, right?
Yes.
So the Hyde Museum, the Wood Theater, Adirondack Theater Festival, some of the things, LARAC, right, are also part of this plan, right?
That is correct. We came up with a kind of a slogan branding of AWE for arts, wellness, and entertainment. Be in awe of Glens Falls was our kind of our promo. And so we're going to be setting aside some funding to look carefully and to work with the arts groups. We've created an art district in downtown so that we want to set aside some money. But again, whether it's an art group or a business organization coming in, this is not going to be 100% funding for any organization or for Jess Jackson Incorporated to come up, buy a building and want 100%. We're going to leverage that money. So we have $10 million from the state. We want to leverage private sector investment of $15, $20, $25 million to make this a total investment of $35, $40 million for downtown Glens Falls.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was just about to bring that up, that, you know, the way that they're looking at this $10 million is how do we take this $10 million to invest in the structure to create $25, $30 million.
That's correct. Yeah, and important really is the jobs.
Yes, yes.
And we can't say enough about what has happened in the arts community. I think through your programming, through your request to have appearances from the Hyde and all of these other organizations, not only in Glens Falls, Saratoga, it really points out not only the wealth of beautiful art and entertainment we have, also it points out the economic impact that we have in terms of bringing people, new people, into the area for the events and enjoying spending some time and effort between Glens Falls and Saratoga. You just got a wealth of stuff to do.
Well, you know what? As usual, Ed, we could talk for an hour, you know. We've got, just quickly, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?
Everything is doing well.
That's good. You're the Energizer Bunny for Warren County.
We are having a great time. I know you've had Jeff Mead on recently, and some great accomplishments that the coalition is undertaking through the efforts in funding from Governor Cuomo and Betty Little. We want to give them credit for that. But nearly $3 million with the marquee outside. Inside the building is going to look terrific.
You know, we had Jeff on this week. Betty Little was just on a couple of weeks ago. This really just points out the fact that what I opened this segment with is really true, that Glens Falls and Warren County on a whole is just on the move. Well, thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks very much for coming in. You're always welcome. Come in anytime and let's talk about this.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.